Walking up from the train station, you can see it in the center with the yellow color on the end of it, into town, and passing by this lovely gorge and the falls there. This presumably is town. I think Zentrum means center. So far, as I amble into town, it looks like a rapidly growing tourist town with a smattering of the old. And so far it seems hidden behind the new. There isn't much in this town that actually stands out as even remotely old. This is one building, probably is one. And this one's probably late 19th century. This little section of town looks kind of old. What I find interesting in this building is how deep or thick the wall apparently is, as indicated by the depth of those windows. You see a few more buildings that look like they could be old. It's hard to tell because there really isn't a lot of embellishment on them that looks inherently old. Again, the deep set windows in this building seems to give away. Apparently is the museum. Pretty building in its simplicity. Looking back into town that I've just walked out from, I'll just pan about our first pan. It's like a restaurant playing off of an old gondola, and a couple of old buildings. This is probably an older area. The art is very simple. A couple climbers up there. What you'd expect to appeal to the tourists. Again, I think probably at the latest, this may be the 1900s, 1920s. These are some cute little sculpted nuances I first discovered in France. They're for holding the shutters open. The Santa Maria Church is up this way. Somebody has bought this and is now remodeling it. Used to suggest it was built in 1670, remodeled again in 1918 and 1963. Maybe the finished detail in that plaster, or I'm thinking it is, or it may be for the finished plaster. Again, I have no idea whether that's old or not. Probably the lettering might give a clue. My guess is it's some kind of a B&B or something like that, although it doesn't say it in English. Interesting old fence. Building seems to suggest it's, I think, 1650, something like that. But perhaps remodeled in 1726, 1959, and 1998. Relief I can go horizontal for a bit. It's interesting that this is the mode of decoration. Postal boxes. Really, same thing done differently. It allowed for various styles, but I'm not sure if there's anything traditional. Interesting. Lounge, deck lounges. Look, it's not even well done. It's just, and maybe that's the style. And I think those may be incised. Yeah, they are. Those are incised into the wall. So they just fill it in and it bleeds out against the sides. Now this guy's sole job is to run around in this rig and water these flowers. It's always preferred to use machinery versus physical labor. Another form, not very imaginative or interesting. My guess is that before tourism became really big, pragmatism reigned when it came to architecture. Again, very pragmatic. I think these are just kind of a rubbery plastic. My favorite timepiece wherever I discover them. Here's an old barn that's still being used left to deteriorate at this point. I doubt when it gets beyond its use or the price gets high enough for the land, they'll just sell it out for a home sale. These look like they're permanent, but they could be shutters. Don't see any hinges, but that looks like a big giant doorknob. And still another, most pragmatic. There's the church, didn't feel like walking up to. And some kind of tower over there, which looks defensive. It's interesting. This building was a little bit more novelty. Not much, but a little. It's the classic in the midst of the not so classic. That may be the last of anything interesting in town. The lower section of the quote-unquote town. Modest and narrow streets suggest old streets. Interesting design for that window balcony. Distinctive, at least. Haven't seen that before. You can hope that you can pull some sense of age out of here. This was at least a pretty building. The deep windows, the incised plaster and unpainted detail, but with those wooden window inserts underneath those balconies is quite nice. Here gives us a hint of something old. What it originally was is interesting because it's got a bowed front, if you notice. And looking further at Dr. Campbell's building, you think these were once church windows filled with stained glass. Love those little cupolas. Look at how they've created that little mini balcony right around the base of the windows per se. And there a dragon holding a light. Another hotel, a Schloss Hotel or Castle Hotel. May well have earlier on been someone's big estate building, if you will. Looks like they tied that one to it. Clever little piece of park art. Notice the clever bent in the suitcase to indicate this slight bend to the left. This is that canyon that we looked down into when we were walking into town. The other side of that narrow slot, we thought, from that bridge over there.